It's important to protect your corn, your crop against disease because it can really have a debilitating effect on the overall yield. We've got so many different things that we're talking about. We have stalk rots, we've got leaf rots. We also have to worry about diseases as far as grain quality. So there's a lot of different things that can impact your final payback. So it's critical we protect against diseases. Growers have to be thinking about the disease issues they've got coming along, and there's different things they have to consider. One of the most important is diseases survive in the crop residue. So the primary inoculum will come right from within that field. So the first thing you have to do is look at fields that had prior disease. If it had northern corn leaf blight or gray leaf spot or anthracnose last year or the year before, then that's the first places they need to look for disease in the next coming season. And these diseases shouldn't come as a surprise, like I said, because the growers know those histories. You can't just rotate corn and soybeans either to protect yourself from disease. What you've had for a history, that's incredibly important as you make your plan for a fungicide application. Also, look at the hybrids. The genetics plays a huge role. If I have a particular hybrid, which is a high-yielding hybrid, but vulnerable to a particular disease, that means I have to plan to make an application in order to get the genetic potential expressed. Because if it's vulnerable to a disease, it can come in and just wreak havoc on the genetic potential that your seed has. Something else is timing of planting. If you plant early, you'll have less impact from disease than you have late. So later season plantings almost always have a yield increase because of the susceptibility of the crop in those stages. That as it goes through those stages, the crop is more vulnerable. Leaves expand at a pretty fast rate, and a fast expanding leaf has a thinner waxy cuticle, making it much more vulnerable to disease. And later on, because the soils are warmer at those times, I get more inoculum as well. So I have a more vulnerable seed plant and more disease inoculum. So the contrast means I get higher disease pressures and better response to fungicides with later planting. It's critical to plan an application because if you wait to see, the approach often is, well, I'll scout, and when I have disease, then I'll come spray for my disease. Well, there's a couple of things wrong with that. One of those is if you wait till disease is present in your field, that means you already have damage done. By the time you actually see a lesion on your leaf surface, that fungus has been growing for some time, for a couple of weeks, inside the leaf itself, causing all kinds of damage. That's lost potential. So if I'm playing a wait and see game, I can't be on the front side of when that damage is there. Or if I'm planning to make the application, then it allows it to be done in a timely fashion, and I'll more likely get the response out of the fungicide that I really plan on. So it's critical to be going into it with a proactive mindset. Stratego YLD is a wonderful fungicide to be applied to that tassel application. What we're trying to do is protect the ear leaf above it, and the leaf above that, those three, and then the leaf below. That's a good indicator leaf. I want to protect those four with my fungicide spray. Stratego YLD, because it has a good, strong strobilurin chemistry, which brings long residual activity, good preventative activity against spore germination, and the physiological effects, I can trigger reactions in those leaves to make them more productive. And with the triazole chemistry in there, I can clean up existing infections and give broad spectrum activity against those diseases. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. And with that, you end up with a more productive crop at the end of the season.